Hey, I'm here with the Wood Brothers, Chris and Oliver. Thanks so much for taking the time, guys. Really appreciate it.
Thank you.
Let,
Thank you.
let me start by getting the story straight. You're brothers, obviously, hence the name, the Wood Brothers. But you really only started making music together professionally probably about, 7 years ago?
At most, yeah, 6 or 7 years, I think.
What happened?
Well, we had separate careers, you know.
Yeah.
Oliver's a little older. He left the house first and pursued music, but his path was more. He ended up in the southeast,
Right.
Atlanta, Georgia, to be
Yeah.
exact. And I wanted to go study jazz, and it just ended up in New York City because I
Right.
thought that's where I should go. And we just remained, and more or less for 15, 20 years, that's where we each lived, and pursued these kind of parallel professional music careers.
Until one day, your band opened up for MMW, right? Is that how the story goes? That
Yeah, that was kind of one of the catalysts for getting us more interested in connect, sort of reconnecting, because we did play music together when we were kids, you
Right.
know, and we were real tight growing up, and then we moved to different parts of the country, and sort of like Chris said, had these parallel careers, and so we grew apart, both musically and just socially too. We didn't see that much of each other.
right.
So anyway, we did have this gig. We shared this gig together, and I actually sat in with Medeski Martin Wood, and we just had such a great time, and it was just it just was so natural, just stand next to each other and play.
Yeah.
And we had such fun that we just got interested in it. So next time we saw each other for a family function, we sat down and did some playing, and we got into the habit of doing that, and actually got interested in recording it and just see what it would sound like. And the recordings just kind of surprised us and took us, made us want to get more excited about it. So we ended up making a demo and then later an album, and some
3
people
albums
liked
in
it,
now.
and yeah, so.
Let's talk about the sound a bit, because it is so different from what you do in your day job, and from and what you were doing in the band before. I mean, yours
Right.
was really an R&B blues type thing, and you do crazy jazz stuff, and then this is this roots Americana stuff that you guys are putting together. What brought that sound out of the two of you?
Well, I mean, on the surface it seems a lot different, but there's actually a lot of overlap, and a lot of the music that Oliver and I listened to growing up, or that Oliver, let's say, was influenced in his band, is actually a lot of the same music that
Right.
Medeski Martin and Wood is influenced by, and and then add on some other fringe crazy stuff around that. But
It's all the same roots.
Right.
All the same roots are involved.
Yeah, blues and southern
so
music.
I think part of it was just the surroundings we were in, the environment that I was in New York City,
Right.
sort of lent itself to this certain direction, and
Yeah.
the kind of people I was hanging out with, and John Medeski and Billy Martin, and the kind of music that they were into,
Right.
was a lot of, it's all the same, all the stuff we like and listen to in the van. Medeski Martin would listen to the same stuff
Right.
as well as other things, you
Yeah.
know. So there's a lot of overlap there. But I think just the real overlap is our childhood and growing up together and listening to the music that we listened to as kids, and our father being a musician as well, not by profession, but he was in the Cambridge folk scene in the late 50s,
Wow.
played with Joan Baez, was doing a lot of that folk music that you would hear on the first Bob Dylan record. He
Right.
did a lot of those songs in our house, live, and that was a big influence.
And that's, growing up, being young and probably hearing that stuff is probably your biggest influence, right? Like, you remember the songs that you grew up listening to when you were a kid.
Absolutely, yeah.
So what are some of those influences, or besides Joan and Bob and the obvious ones, are there things that people wouldn't think you guys listen to, or wouldn't think influence the music you make?
Well, I think it's all over the place. I'd say Chris and I have a passion for all kinds of roots stuff.
Right.
So when we travel together, we listen to Ray Charles, and we listen to old gospel music, and we listen to Appalachian music, and we listen to African music, but it's all kind of raw and roots oriented, or at least coming from that. So it could be Mingus and a sort of jazz roots,
Right.
or Django or something like that, or it could be over on the the gospel side, and Aretha Franklin, and then everything mixed together. You know, Ray Charles is probably our most played guy in
Really?
However we're traveling. Yeah, so.
How'd you guys all hook up with the Zac Brown band? I know that, given the new record is out on his imprint, and you toured with him, I guess.
Right.
How'd you all hook up with Zac?
Well, Zac's an Atlanta guy, and
Right.
and I've been in Atlanta for 20 years now. So,
Right.
and I've been close friends actually with a couple of guys in Zac's band. Clay Cook, one of them, who's going
Right.
to be playing with us tonight, and so I met Zac through them, and I think they turned Zac onto the Wood Brothers music, and Zac is cool in that he really is interested in a lot of music, that's not necessarily as popular as what he does. He likes
Right.
all kinds of stuff, and he likes to, when he likes something, he likes to help it out and support it and help it grow. So that's his idea, was to get us on his label. So.
Smoke Ring Halo is your third full album. I mean, there's been the demo, and then there was the EP that you put out with covers. But first of all, did you know that it was like an alt-rock band out of Missouri, Smoke Ring Halo?
No.
I did a quick Google, yeah, and the guy's got a pretty rad, no, I'm being sarcastic, MySpace page where it's just him
I
in
did
his
see
picture.
that.
Yeah.
I did see it because I Googled it to make sure. Somebody must have done this. Somebody. Yeah.
Let's talk about the album. I think unlike the prior albums, it's a lot richer in sound and a lot more going on. Is that intentional? Is it a maturing of the Wood Brothers sound, you think?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, it is the first record to have a drummer and the same drummer throughout.
Right.
So it really felt like a band, and
Some backing vocals
there's
too.
some different backing vocals. We got John Medeski plays a little bit of organ
Heard of
on
him.
a couple of tracks. We got some horn players from Atlanta on a couple of tracks. Zac Brown, Clay Cook from the Zac Brown band
Yeah.
sang on it. Who am I forgetting?
It's a good start.
So but I think it's still it's still a spare. I mean, and it was done in a very live way.
Right.
Just the trio playing the material live. So.
And it's all live off the floor. I mean, I remember reading stuff that it was actually recorded analog, right? And
Yeah,
it
it was recorded analog to 16 track, 2-inch tape.
Old school.
Old school. Uh-huh.
You guys have been at this for a while, and you've seen the music industry morph and change and do all the things that it's done. How cool is it that you're able to make music that you both enjoy making and kind of make a living out of it, touring and doing what you do? Is that rewarding for you to be able to play, I don't know, as many dates as you play and just hang out and hang out with your brother and make cool music?
It's amazing. It's hard. It's the music industry's changed so fast
Right.
in such a short period of time that I mean, not to date ourselves or anything, but I have to say it because it's changing that fast. But for musicians our age, it's crazy. It's crazy. So what we got used to in the '90s when we were both developing our first bands, doesn't apply at all anymore.
Right.
And where your money comes from, how you market yourself, all these things about the music business. So that part is sometimes makes us feel old. It's pretty daunting the way things are changing, and we look to younger musicians sometimes for guidance, because it's like, wow, okay, what's the hippest way to get your sound out there, or to get the message out there to people?
You guys are active on social media and stuff? You guys are Twittering or Facebooking?
Man, I'm a wannabe,
Yeah.
but I gotta say, I feel like an old dog trying to learn new tricks, and it's just, we're married, we got kids, we got, it's like life is full, and to reprogram yourself with these habits of like daily. So I want to do it. Honest to God, I want to be a part of it, and I think I'm gonna get there, but I'm it's real slow.
How about you, Oliver?
I'm way behind.
You just
I'm
wanna
even
play the
further behind
guitar?
him. Yeah, I just want to.
Yeah,
I want someone else to do that. Honestly, I just want to play.
How'd you guys pick the songs on the covers record? Was it a collaborative process? Did you all just throw some songs together? Your cover of Midnight Rider is it's just great.
Thank you. They're just varied. I mean, there's some of the songs we had been doing and other songs we had wanted to learn, but we just I don't know. They're just, when you pick a cover song, it's kind of like it has to mean something to you or be
Right.
somehow challenging or interesting, and those just happen to be what we picked. But I think it was cool to see sort of the diversity of what we ended up picking.
Right.
You know, it was from Allman Brothers to Billie Holiday to Alan Toussaint. So it's kind of all to Beck. You know, it's kind of all. The idea was to keep it fresh and different, and also to really put our own spins on those tunes. You know.
Yeah. Thanks so much for taking the time, guys. Really appreciate it, and really appreciate the music you're making. So keep it up, and
Cool.
good luck.
Thank
guys.
you.
Thanks for writing
Thanks,
about us.
Ira.
Explore Music wears English Laundry apparel.